Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com, and as you can tell, we've been doing some work on our 2005 Honda CRF450R. Today, we're going to focus in on the linkage that attaches to the bottom of the shock. This machine, when we first got it, when it was actually together, you could actually pivot the axle back and forth and the shock would twist. It's basically worn out and it is in desperate need of a rebuild. So let's step over to the table and look at the parts I'm going to use to pull this off. Now this particular section that we're rebuilding is actually available from a kit from Pivot Works, and inside of this kit they have all the seals and the bearings and the spacers, the grease, everything that you're going to need to completely rebuild that lower pivoting section. Now you can go on Partzilla.com and go to this one's year, make, and model and look up the exploded parts diagram if you want to go back OEM. I've decided I just want to go with this one part number. Pivot Works has a great reputation, so that's what I've decided to go with. Now, any special tools that I may use, I will call those out as we go along. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and open up the toolbox and dive into this. All right guys, so we're only going to need a 17 millimeter to remove the shock. You've got the same size nut, top and bottom. Oh, but before I take that off, this is what we're trying to correct. Shouldn't have quite that much play. It surely shouldn't sound like that. So that's what we're trying to correct. But we're going to make it all better. Right now it's resting on the shock itself, so we're just going to bring it up just a little bit. Relieve that pressure. That's one thing about a motocross bike. They're easy to take apart. All right guys, there's only two bolts holding this together, or holding it to the frame itself and the swing arm. And they both have a 14 on one side and a 19 on the other. But before I remove those two, I want to go ahead and break loose the dog bone connection to the pivot, because it'll be a lot easier to do it with it on the machine versus trying to do it on the teardown bench. So now, with that removed, we can take out the dog bone and the actual pivot back on the back. There she is. Hard to believe how many parts are in that one little thing. All right guys, this is going to get really repetitive because all of this is going to go into these two pieces. It's hard to believe, but yes, we will use every single piece when it comes to rebuilding the linkage itself. So let's jump into it, and to do this we're going to be using a tool from Motion Pro. This is a very comprehensive kit and it is geared toward doing this particular model, so you might want to check if you're doing a different model to make sure that this has all the adapters you're going to need to get everything pressed out and, more importantly, pressed back in, because they do have an extensive list of different collets that you can order depending on which make and model that you're working with. But this one is really geared toward the CRF450R, so it should have no trouble pushing all of these out and then getting the new ones in. So let's drive straight into it. And my advice, do one at a time, otherwise this could get a little confusing. But it's only going to go together one way. So you've got a couple of washers, then your seals. Now you should be able to push through that guy, and oh yeah, look at that. That was starting to look pretty rough. Be glad you can't smell it. It's kind of rough. With all that out of the way, now you can actually see the two bearings that we're going to end up pressing out. Now I told you this kit was very comprehensive. They actually have a blind bearing puller where we can pull out from either side instead of having to push all the way through. That would take forever. So let's get this adapter in place. Like that. That's got it. As you go through this, you want to either oil or grease the threads in any contact with any washers, just to preserve the life of the tool itself. Got it. There we go. That's all it took. Ooh, this smells rotten. Smells like rotten eggs. Now, let's go for the other side. As I said a couple of minutes ago, make sure you go down all the way so it's got enough distance on the threads to pull it out. We're just doing the same thing on the other side. This is going to get really repetitive, guys, but it's definitely worth the effort. I pretty much guarantee you, as versatile as this kit is, this will not be the only time you use it. When you get everything pushed out, make sure you go back and go ahead and clean it out, because I guarantee you all that sludge, some's going to be left over, and there's no reason for it to stay in there now. All right, guys, we're getting ready to press it in. Let's take a little dab of grease just to make it easier to press it in there. Make sure your lettering is facing toward the outside, and this is the adapter we're going to use. And this time you'll actually be assembling it like this. That way you will have enough threads to make it through your upper adapter like that. That's what you should look like when you're done. All right, let's go. Looks like that's going in square. I think we're good to go. That should be it. We having fun yet? That's it. Same thing for the other side. Lettering out. All right, next we're going to go ahead and press in our seals and start packing it with grease. Seals are really easy to press in. You don't need a tool or anything, just your fingers will do, like that. Now, let's pack some more grease in there, especially around that seal area. Get it into those cavities. A whole lot better than what came out of there. Now, go ahead and pop in our collar or spacer. Press in our washers on either side. Make sure that they go in flush and don't press in on the seal. And this one is ready to go. So let's move on to this guy. Let's go ahead and start with that small end first, and then we'll do the larger ends of the rocker last. It's basically assembled really close to what we had before. You'll have a washer on either side with a seal. Oh, look how bad that looks. Yuck. Completely dried out. That was not rotating at all on the bearing. It was just rotating on the bolt. I didn't ride this bike, but it had to be horrible. It's going to ride so much better now. That is case in point why we're doing this. It should not look like this at all. Onward and upward. Oh, actually, we need to push that collar out first. Let's see if we can find an adapter to get in there. I'm losing my bearings. There. All right. Let's flip this around since we've got plenty of distance. So this is the way you want to configure it. Granted, guys, if you've got a vise nearby, mine's busy right now. That's kind of why I'm doing this just on the table. but it would make your life easier if you maybe held onto one bolt or the other with the vise. Wouldn't be quite so difficult to manipulate. Now that all those needles have fallen out, it's actually in there a little bit cattywampus, but I think it'll still push it through. There it goes. All right, guys, what we're going to do here is go ahead and take all of them out and then clean it up, because if I go ahead and put in a new bearing now, chances are some of that from the other two is going to end up in there, and that's not what I want. So let's get these other two broken down, then we'll start putting it back together. There we go. All right, now we're going to set it up and push them straight through, and we're going to push both of them at the same time, actually. So it's going to take a pretty good bit of force. That's what yours should look like. We may have to press out one, take it off, and then press out the other. I'm not sure there's enough cavity in this section to take both of them in there. Probably not. So let's find out. I could just spit out one. Hey, I got both of them. Look at that. Let's see how close it was. We still had a little bit of room. All right, let's do that one more time. Yep, it doesn't take long to get to the other one, so that's both bearings now, because these were real close together. You could try to do this with sockets and a hammer and a drift. I don't think you'd be very successful. This kit is pretty much mandatory, but it works so well. Touchdown. So now let's get everything cleaned up, then we can start putting this back together. We're going to start with the smallest one first, but this one you do not bottom out. We're actually going to center it in there. You'll have roughly 3 millimeters depth on either side, and that's what we're going to be aiming for. We can use this one because we need to be able to go into that cavity just a little bit. Now you want to press against the lettering on it. Okay, let's go. All right, aiming for 3 millimeters. Betting that's going to be pretty close. What we're going to do is put in the washers on either side and see if they look equal. Now we are in the ballpark, because once you put that spacer in the middle, it should have a little bit of clearance where it's not rubbing against the bearing, and that's what we have, because we can go all the way from there to there. So that's pushed in one way, see the gap? The other side, see the gap? Those are equal, so we're in there. So plenty of room either side. Now let's finish it up by getting in our seals, then pack all of that full of grease. Get our spacer in, then put our seal on the outside. Now, our outer washers. All right. Now we just got to get these other two guys and we'll be finished. Well, assembling this anyway. I'd say the machine still has a little bit of work to be done. Now the other 4 bearings we're going to use this, and it will actually bottom out at the correct depth. So we don't have to center those. We just go till they bottom, then we're good to go. Okay, we'll go ahead and grease up both cavities. Once again, make sure you're going against the lettering. Let's go. There it is. All right, let's go and get that other side. Like I said, all four of these bearings are the same. All right, go ahead and pack some grease in both of these. Our seals. Get our collar in, and then our two outer washers. We're down to the last one. Same game, let's go. This is one machine that needed every bit of this, no doubt. Now, remember, we need to get these washers in first, then the seal. Now, let's get it packed. Spacer, washers on either end. Well, all right, guys, there you go. Completely rebuilt on both the pivot and then what I call the dog bone. So all I got to do now is put it back on the machine. Well, listen, if you need these parts or any others for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions about this video, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, if you like what you see and you want to see more, why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.